Good morning, and welcome to your AIDailyPress morning podcast for July 16th, 2025. We have several significant stories to cover today. Firstly, in international trade news, the U.S. has signed a deal with Indonesia that includes significant purchase commitments from Indonesia, including $15 billion in U.S. energy and $1.5 billion in American agricultural products. This agreement is expected to have far-reaching consequences for international trade and commerce. In other news, U.S. President Donald Trump has announced a 20% tariff on Brazilian products, citing his support for former Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro. The move has sent shockwaves through the international community, with many questioning the motives behind Trump's actions. Brazil has threatened retaliation if trade negotiations do not advance. Lastly, in European news, French Prime Minister François Bayrou has proposed scrapping 2 public holidays as part of the 2024 budget to reduce the country's crippling debt and boost its economy. The plan faces significant resistance from various parties and unions, with opposition leaders condemning it as a direct attack on France's history, roots, and working-class citizens. These stories are developing, and we will continue to provide updates as more information becomes available. That's all for now. Thank you for tuning in to the AI Daily Press Morning Podcast. I'm Walter, and we'll be back with more news after this break. Now for the latest in social and cultural news, here is Barbara Waters.
Thank you, Walter. Good morning. I'm Barbara, and welcome to our morning edition of the AI Daily Press. Here's a brief summary of the top stories we're following today. Firstly, in Canada, 2 separate incidents have left workers in the social services sector reeling after sudden closures of non-profit organizations in Ontario and Nova Scotia. Workers are calling for respect for their collective bargaining agreements, transition plans that prioritize client safety, and support for those who have lost their jobs. In other news, a landmark decision by an Ecuadorian court has granted the Sicopai indigenous community title to their ancestral lands within a protected area, sparking a heated debate about indigenous rights in conservation. While some hail this as a significant victory, others caution that each conflict must be analyzed individually and that existing agreements should not be superseded. Lastly, we're keeping an eye on the latest developments in U.S. politics, where President Trump's job approval ratings have taken a hit, with 55% of respondents disapproving of his performance. We'll continue to monitor these stories and provide updates as more information becomes available. That's all for now. Thank you for joining us on this morning's edition of the AI Daily Press. Stay with us for further updates and in-depth analysis throughout the day. Now for the latest in business and finance, here is Louis Riskweiser.
Thank you, Barbara. Today, we're discussing the latest developments in the world of finance, with a focus on India's economic fundamentals and the ongoing tariff negotiations with the U.S. Renowned market expert Vikas Khemani, founder of Carnelian Asset Management, shared his insights on India's growth profile and decreasing interest rates, making it an attractive investment destination despite concerns about valuations. He expects a favorable outcome from the tariff negotiations, citing the Indian government's mature approach and the mutual benefits for both the U.S. and India. Khemani also highlighted the positive impact of the recent 35 basis point rate cut by the Reserve Bank of India on corporate earnings and asset class valuations, particularly in the BFSI sector. While some analysts caution about potential risks from trade tensions, Khemani's comments suggest that investors should focus on India's long-term growth potential rather than short-term market fluctuations. In other news, we've been following the performances of closed-end funds, exchange-traded funds, and dividend stocks, with a focus on consistent buying activity and dependable monthly income. Our friends at the ELVS Research Laboratory have also been analyzing dividend growth investment ideas, including Constellation Brand's recent performance. As we navigate through these developments, it's essential to remember that past performance is not a guarantee of future results, and investors should always conduct thorough research and consider their individual financial goals before making any investment decision. That's all for now. Thank you for joining me on this morning's edition of the AI Daily Press. Until next time, stay informed, stay vigilant, and remember, don't take financial advice from a stranger, unless it's me, and even then, do your own research. Now for the latest in science and technology, here is Carl Starman.
Thank you, Lewis. Firstly, astronomers have captured an unprecedented image of a dying star that exploded not once but twice, providing visual evidence for the long-theorized double detonation theory. This remarkable observation sheds new light on the enigmatic processes governing the final stages of stellar evolution and has significant implications for our understanding of Type 1a supernovae. In another breakthrough, the European Space Agency has successfully demonstrated the feasibility of using lasers to transmit data between spacecraft and Earth. This technology has the potential to revolutionize space communication, enabling faster and more efficient data transfer between spacecraft and Earth, and could even pave the way for a solar system internet. Lastly, we're highlighting the importance of international collaboration in space exploration, as seen in the successful test conducted between the ESA's Crioneri Observatory in Greece and NASA's Psyche mission. This experiment marks a major milestone in the development of optical communication systems, bringing us closer to a future where spacecraft can communicate with Earth at speeds comparable to those of terrestrial internet connections. These discoveries remind us of the awe-inspiring complexity and beauty of space exploration, and the importance of continued innovation and collaboration in our pursuit of knowledge. That's all for today's podcast. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you tomorrow on the AI Daily Press Morning Podcast. Now, for the latest in sports, here is Howard Closewell.
Thank you, Carl. First, we're celebrating the success of young athletes in the MLB draft, including players from Alabama and Notre Dame. These talented individuals are taking their skills to the next level, and we can't wait to see what they achieve. Next, we're diving into the world of college football, where Notre Dame is making waves with its thoughtful approach to name, image, and likeness deals. Despite not being one of the biggest spenders, the Irish are attracting top talent through their commitment to building a strong team culture that values both on-field performance and off-field development. Lastly, we're inspired by the story of Caden Crowell, a pitching prospect who was snubbed by the MLB draft, but is now looking forward to starting his career with Notre Dame. His determination and resilience serve as a reminder of the opportunities that collegiate sports can offer for growth and development. That's all for today's summary. Tune into our full reports for more in-depth analysis and updates on these stories. We'll continue to bring you fair, balanced, and unbiased reporting from the world of sports. Thanks for joining me, and I'm Howard, your host for the AI Daily Press Morning Podcast. Stay informed, and let's look forward to what the future holds for these talented athletes and programs. Now, for the latest in travel and human interest, here is Charles Curl.
Thank you, Howard. I'm your host, Charles. Today, we're bringing you a brief summary of our top stories. First, we have an update on the investigation into the small plane crash in Pembroke Pines, Florida, where a family of 4 was rescued by quick-thinking neighbors who risked their own lives to help. This remarkable story of community and heroism is a testament to the power of human connection. In other news, researchers have made a surprising discovery about Uranus, the 7th planet from the Sun, finding that it emits more internal heat than previously thought. This new study challenges our understanding of Uranus's place in the solar system and provides valuable insights into planetary atmospheres and climate systems. And finally, we're following the latest developments on the government's investigation into the plane crash and the ongoing efforts to understand the mysteries of our universe. That's all for now. Thank you for joining us on this morning's edition of the AI Daily Press. We'll be back with more news and stories from around the country after the break. Now for the latest in fashion and entertainment, here is Joan Streams.
Thank you, Charles. I'm your host, Joan. Today we're covering some exciting news from the world of entertainment and beyond. First up, the Emmy nominations are out, and what a list it is. HBO's dominated the nominations, but we're also seeing some amazing talent recognized, including our Queen Bee herself, Beyoncé, who's been nominated for Outstanding Directing for a Variety special for her Netflix special, Beyoncé Bowl. And let's not forget RuPaul, who's now the most nominated reality host in Emmys history with 11 nods for Drag Race. But it's not all about the Emmys. We're also mourning the loss of a true legend in the hairdressing world, Charlie Miller, who passed away at the age of 80. This Scottish hairdresser extraordinaire spent 6 decades making waves in the beauty industry, with a client list that reads like a who's who of Hollywood A-listers. And finally, we're taking a look at the latest news from the world of television, where streaming giants like Netflix, HBO, and Apple TV are battling it out for dominance. With 99 nominations, Netflix is still a major player, but HBO's not far behind. That's all for now, folks. Now for the latest in nature and environment, here is David Attenacher.
Thank you, Joan. Firstly, a team of researchers has made groundbreaking discoveries about the habitats of various bird species in Boston's Belle Isle Marsh Reservation. This mid-Atlantic salt marsh is home to over 300 native bird species and serves as a vital stopover for migrating birds. Thanks to the tireless efforts of local advocacy groups like the Friends of Belle Isle, this ecosystem remains protected and continues to thrive. In other news, the Global Wetland Outlook report has shed light on the alarming rate of wetland loss worldwide. With over 35% of the world's wetlands vanishing in just a few decades, it's essential that we take collective action to preserve these invaluable ecosystems. The report highlights successful restoration projects and emphasizes the need for global cooperation to mitigate this environmental crisis. Lastly, a team of explorers has ventured into the heart of Africa to study the habitats of various wildlife species, including the endangered king rail and salt marsh sparrow. Their findings have provided valuable insights into the conservation efforts needed to protect these species and their habitats. That's all for today's podcast. Tune in tomorrow for more updates on environmental conservation and wildlife preservation. Thank you for listening to the AI Daily Press Morning Podcast. And that completes our morning podcast for today. Thank you for listening. Until this evening, I'm David Attenacher for AI Daily Press, the world's most unbiased news source.